Tripping, I've been sipping, that's how I control.
Radio at its best. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the show. This is Relax Radio, Relaks, with none other than me, Nick, giving you guys company all the way until 6 p.m. That's right. We're talking about all things that is going on right now. And we're talking about a lot of these things that is happening. And one of that is the UK aid cuts risk millions of lives, warns the World Health Organization. Yeah, that's right. They're talking about all these things and they're saying, okay, listen, the issue right now is not something that we've expected. And cutting off these, these aids. Well, the WHO is asking the UK government, how many of these countries will be suffering from this? What are we supposed to do? This is what they're kind of asking right now. And the cuts to the UK's aid budget will leave millions of people at risk of dying from neglected tropical diseases, is what the World Health Organization had to say about this. But we know they were talking about all these things. So nearly 280 million life-saving tablets are likely to expire and have to be incinerated due to the withdrawal of the UK money. This is what the United Nations agency has said, and they're saying, okay, we're going to be facing this kind of sort of loss. So how are we supposed to handle this? What are we supposed to do? And the UK is, looking at all these things. Like I said, cutting these aids will cut down on children going to school. Other thing is, medicine and food. All of these things are very important things. So if the aid is cut, what is going to happen is people are likely to suffer from something like this. And like I said, the UK's annual foreign aid budget has been reduced from 0.7% to 0.5% of national income, almost a cut of almost £4 billion. That's right. And the ministers say £10 billion will still be spent in 2021, with £1.3 billion on global health. So the World Health Organization is talking about all these things, and they're saying all these things are going to be happening. And it shows, what is going on. They're saying because of these cuts, this is what is happening. This is how we are suffering. Our community is suffering. The people are suffering, especially in these countries. And the World Health Organization went on to say has joined many other agencies in warning about the impact of the Treasury's decision to cut foreign aid this year. That's right. So in a submission to the International Development Committee, who is conducting an inquiry based on this, and they're conducting an inquiry based on these things, and they were talking about right now about the future of the UK aid. They were talking about how the future of the UK aid, and the WHO said the cuts would leave millions of world's poorest people at risk from so-called neglected tropical disease. So these include, in case you guys don't know, but it's elephantitis, trachoma, guinea worm, and among 20 diseases that mainly affect people in the poorer areas. So these poor countries, people from these poor countries will suffer from all these things, So this is all preventable diseases, but without treatment, the WHO is saying, okay, listen, they kill, blind, disfigure, and maim. And it's terrible because when you think about it, if these are all preventable, what do we need to do this? How do we keep this going? How do we make this sustainable? Well, this is the best way to do it. And this is what they're talking about, how they want to we should make sure that this is preventable. So what are we going to do? How are we going to be doing this? Well, we shouldn't cut the aids, because if we do cut the aid funding, this is just going to make it more harder. If it was an irreversible disease, okay, fine. This is a disease that can be reversed. So what is going on with that statement? You got to understand there's all these things going. So the WHO also went on to say that prior to its aid cuts, the UK provided funding to 19 countries through its flagship health program called the Accelerating the Sustainable Control and Elimination of Neglected Tropical Disease, or ASCEND is what they like to call it. So much of the UK's aid helped distribute life-saving medicines, but without that help, the agency said it was likely 277 million tablets would expire and have to be incinerated. Yeah, that's right. These will have to be burned as well. So this is the unfortunate scenario right now, and this is what they're trying to prevent as much as possible. So with that in mind, though, most of the UK, like I said, they've been distributing this, and they say if we do these cuts, a lot of these medicines will expire and rot away, and they'll eventually have to be burned. So WHO went on to say no obvious alternative alternative source of funding exists to fill the funding gaps that will be left by the exit of the ascent. So the Foreign Office said it had been forced by the financial impact, is what he says, of the pandemic to take tough actions and decisions to leave programs that treat these particular diseases. So yeah, with that regards, he was talking about all these things, and he said right now, with that statement, they were saying the seismic impact of the pandemic forced the tough decisions to temporarily reduce the aid budget and exit some programs, including the accelerating the sustainable control and elimination of neglected tropical diseases program. This is what the statements went on to say. And additionally, it said that we are still need more than 10 billion pounds this year to fight poverty, tackle climate change, and improve global health, and including 1.3 billion pound on the global health industry, as in the whole global health sector, rather. So they want to say these are this unfortunate things that had to happen. It did happen. We can't really avoid it. I mean, this is the cuts that we have to do to help the country, because right now the UK, with the funding that we do, they figured, okay, we can spare at least 0.7. I mean, in my opinion, if you ask me if it's right, well, it's not right for them to cut on the aid funding, because from 0.7 they took out 0.5% now. So that's that's our total GDP that they've tried to cut, and they take almost 4 billion pounds when it comes to donations. And yeah, with that regards, though, we're cutting off 4 billion pounds of funding this time, and that is a lot of money. So people are not happy about that. And they say this affects these places, these poor countries, these third world countries, and they are struggling from this. So how are we going to do this? So the Conservative Party committed to spending 0.7% in its manifesto for the 2019 general election. But last year, ministers decided to reduce this year's spending, saying it was temporary and hard to justify given record levels of peacetime borrowing during the COVID pandemic. So right now, the crucial move, though, if you really think about it, has drawn criticism from Tories and opposition MPs who have tried to overturn the cuts, as well as dozens of charities and the United Nations. So yeah, no, with this regard, there's a lot of these talks going on with all this. And like I said, the government right now, they made all these promises in the beginning, and they kept it at 0.7% the budget. This is what they were committed to spending initially. In the manifesto back in 2019, they discussed about this. But now looking at the things, they've changed it. They've changed the rules, and it's baffling for a lot of ministers and a lot of people as well. And, critics can say what they want, but it's the truth right here. The situation is that this is just baffling. They changed all of these things, and yeah, it's unfortunate, for things like this to happen. Like, you have to cut from the aid funding, and I mean, in my opinion, those are just some of my thoughts lingering on those particular matters, because, like I said, they couldn't even justify the reason why they had to cut it. Given that we've had like these peacetime borrowing during the whole COVID pandemic situation, is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, these are just, I guess, hard times. People, this is just, where the country has to think of for its own self. And yeah, like I said, nearly 280 million of these life-saving tablets will likely expire and have to be incinerated due to the withdrawal of our money, of the UK money, is what the United Nations agency have said. So it's concerning, and it's really unfortunate for something like this to happen in such a scale. And yeah, I like when you look at our other countries, our other counterparts who must be donating the full amount, even though they are going through this pandemic just like we are. So, I mean, there's so many reasons and cuts to this, but hopefully they can figure out something with that regards. But anyways, though, yeah, these are just, some of the things that we were talking about in the show. And hey, if you always want to be a part of it, it's all you got to do. It's simple. Hit me up on those numbers, 07852 473 473. So yeah, you make sure you guys check us out also on our social media pages. That's right. We are pretty much big on Instagram, on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. We're on all the social media platforms. Make sure you follow us, like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, that's right. Check us out also on YouTube. And yeah, also don't forget to download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to carry us all day, every day. And hey, with that being said, it is about that time of the day that I bounce out of here. But don't worry, I'll catch you guys again on Monday. Same time, same place, only here on Relaks Radio, Relaks. And yeah, my name is Nick, and I'll catch you guys on Real Talk. With that, peace out.